Welcome to Library Grindhouse. The only ticket you need is your library card. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Leah, and today we'll be discussing the 2020 horror film PG, Psycho Goreman.
Well, Leah, we did it. We finally found
the Velocipasta
that this show was made to cover.
This is the perfect movie for us.
It's the ideal Library Grindhouse film.
We cannot talk highly enough about this movie. This was just one of our favorites.
Absolutely. I mean, it's got everything. I mean, the gore, the heavy metal, everything, the 80s vibes,
the creepy
soundtrack. I mean, oh my gosh, it's got it all. So if you didn't watch this movie, pause, go check it out on Hoopla and watch it right now. It is such a treat. Please do yourself a favor.
Absolutely. When I first turned this on, I had very low expectations. I saw the cover and I was like, okay, it's cool. It looks kind of retro-y, 80s-ish, just grindhousey, really.
Yes.
But I was like, big alien, I don't know. Is this going to be really just not well production value, goodness, not a good production value. What is this going to be? And I immediately fell in love. Like, immediately.
Absolutely.
It took less than 5 minutes for me just to be full on, like, watching this movie.
All right, so to open this thing off, we got a text scroll with a nice font, nice and kind of heavy metal. We got narration outline that a great evil from the planet Gygax was set on destroying all life in the galaxy. Pretty intense.
It's very intense.
Yes, until the forces of light bind together to banish the evil to a place that's far away where he can't hurt anyone ever again. And if he were to be released, it spells certain doom for the universe. So high stakes. Good stuff. So yeah, so next we have a brother and sister, right? They're playing a game, completely made up sports ball game called Crazy Ball.
Which when I first saw this, I was like, what the heck is going on? What's up with the face paint? What's up with just what? But you soon come to realize,
It's kids making up a crazy, ridiculous game.
Kids will be kids.
That is true. I love lines like,
winner is champion of the universe. Loser gets buried alive.
When they first said that, I was like, what is this movie about? First intergalactic alien, then these kids making up this random crazy ball game where the loser is buried alive.
And then the brother, of course, says,
That's fair.
that's fair.
Yeah, like just nonchalant. Just
What is this dynamic? Like,
Library Grindhouse will be back after these messages.
Are your kids at each other's throats? Do you wish they knew the joys of those carefree days of minimal supervision, playing with dangerous toys, and being maimed by metal playground equipment? Check out some titles from call number 790. Titles like 101 Activities for Siblings Who Squabble and Let Them Be Eaten by Bears will have them out of your hair and having fun in no time. Call number 790. Get your kids away from the bleeding TV set and outside where they can have some good, clean fun.
And now back to the Library Grindhouse.
So basically we discover very quickly that this little girl is a sociopath who needs serious counseling, at least. I mean, no shame, but those that love her need to pay a little bit more attention.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
But yeah, so while digging a hole for her brother to bury himself alive, they find the container that PG was basically stored in and sealed away and has a glowing gem on top. So of course her brother Luke throws out, is it a coffin? Wait.
Is this where they buried Grandma?
The lines in this movie, it's just great.
And then, of course, the first thing that Mimi does is reach in and...
Well, first she does like a little Simon.
Oh,
and
that's right.
Yeah, and
that's right.
Basically randomly hits buttons and unlocks the gem or whatever. It's pretty wild.
It's pretty wild. Yeah, and then at first I was like, did she just rip out somebody's heart? Like, was that a glowing heart that this little girl just like, oh yeah, I know how to do this.
That would have been even more metal, I will have to admit. That would have been pretty awesome. So Mimi grabs the gem, and the whole thing starts shaking. They freak out and take off. And especially brother Luke, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Luke is really scared. And he goes to his dad and says, Dad, are monsters real? And his dad replies,
Well, here's the thing, Luke. In a lot of ways, humans are the real monsters. So I'd say yes.
Right.
I mean, just great parenting right there. I high five to that dad, right? Kidding, but yes.
So part of me, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, son, be terrified of everything and everyone.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's pretty wild. I mean, everyone in this movie, I'm just like, what's your deal? Like, because it is people in this movie, I don't know. But
Everyone
anyway,
has that personality type, and it's just gone to like the 100th degree.
Oh yeah.
Like just whoop, off the charts.
Yeah, so Psycho Goreman escapes the hole, wanders to an old shoe factory where he quickly beheads 2 petty thieves and honors the third criminal across not today by forcing him to live forever in endless pain. Nice practical gore effects, too.
It's his masterpiece.
He was my masterpiece.
His masterpiece. I was cracking up laughing, too, at just the guy just being an utter eyeballs rolling around his head.
It is so
Skin
gnarly,
melting
but it's
off.
also hilarious.
They somehow just tune that perfectly, because sometimes I'll see some movies with like the fake, not fake, but just the over-the-top gore effects, and I'm like, all right, simmer down now. This one,
Right.
It was perfect.
It was, and it's one thing where I think it helps, like, have you seen Hellraiser?
Yes.
Okay, because, like, I've seen Hellraiser, and it's got this kind of gore sensibility, like a latex and just blood everywhere and whatever. It's got all that, but it takes it so seriously, and so it helps to have seen something so serious, because then you can see, like, oh, this is being played for laughs.
Yes.
Because, like, if you're not used to horror movies and you dive in with this, you can be like, this is horrible, and it's like, well, yes, but it's being played for laughs. So anyway, yeah, so let's see here. So later that night, they see footprints leading in the mud away from their house, and so they realize that something escaped, and so they basically follow and find the shoe factory and what's left of the criminals. So like I said, very Hellraiser gore effects here.
Yes.
And basically the gem of Praxidike allows Mimi to control PG. She discovers very quickly.
Let's test this baby out. All right, Monster Mash. Pick up my bro and, spin him around a bunch. Hey, come on!
And PG does not like this.
No.
I found it so funny that whenever their back was turned, he would try and like go to kill her, and then and she would stop. That was probably the funniest part, because it's like he can kill her. Just because she's holding the gem doesn't mean that she is almighty, all powerful to him. She has to say stop. She controls him by telling him to do things. It's not that he has zero lack of. Well, I guess
He has some agency.
Yeah.
The movie's a little wishy-washy on his agency, because he can just do things, but
Yeah.
at the same time, he can't just do things. But you don't care. The movie's too fun for that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just feel like at the end of it, you know, because you would assume he does try and kill her multiple times behind her back, but I feel like
Sure.
towards the end of it, you know what I mean? Well,
He comes around to her.
we'll get to that.
So Mimi decides that PG's self-proclaimed name, the Archduke of Darkness, is super lame. So after workshopping some names like with Luke, like Dinosaur's Flex, which is my personal favorite.
How about Dark Lord of Wonderful Smooches?
I will never accept such a title.
She picks Psycho Goreman, or PG for short.
It's fun, it's hip, it's wow, and it's now!
You're making a terrible mistake, you putrid little creature.
Wow, Mimi's a piece of work. Anyway. So Mimi has PG spin her brother and answer a knock-knock joke before forcing him to sit down, shut up, and wait for them to get back in the morning, which he is not happy about. But meanwhile, the forces of light have gathered on another planet to figure out what to do about PG escaping, and the alien costumes are delightfully lo-fi. It is fantastic. It's like cosplay.
It is seriously, it's adult Power Rangers. That's the vibe that I got. Adult Power Rangers, which amazing.
Absolutely. So Templar Pandora decides PG must die by her hand, and the Templar costume design is really cool looking, if slightly stiff, but that's all right. And she has a human teleported to her and promptly squishes her into a meat cube, which at first I was like, is she just imprisoning her? And then it's like, oh no, she just got squished into a meat cube.
Absolutely.
That is nuts.
She got trapped in Pandora's box.
Oh gosh, Leah.
Womp womp.
That hurts so bad. That hurts so bad.
Pew pew, got it.
Oh boy, alright. But then she smashes the cube, which also kind of shocked me, and mashes blood on her face before starting to transform into what? Let's find out.
So did you at first, I thought that she was a good person. Like when I first saw this whole setup and she brought a human out, I was like, all right, she's trying to study them. She's going to get onto Earth. Nope, squish, which was bad enough. But then just the smear.
Oh yeah, no,
I
it's
was
all
like,
of a sudden you're just like, oh, these guys aren't exactly good.
Yeah, this is not a good alien intergalactic community or setup or whatever. This is just
Something else.
Yeah.
It's troubling.
These are some troubled aliens.
Everyone in this movie is troubled. So back on Earth, Mimi and Luke bring Luke's friend Alistair to meet PG, and they bring magazines and a TV. Yeah, it's classic. That's where we get our Hunky Boys line, which maybe I'll put in if you're nice.
I love the I do not care for hunky boys, or do I?
Look at all the hunky boys.
I do not care for hunky boys. Or do I?
Do I?
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's so well delivered.
I think that was like my first actual laugh out loud. I had to pause the movie because I couldn't take notes and watch it and just giggle incessantly over and over again.
I
Like,
think for me, I think it was when they knocked over his masterpiece,
oh,
and he's like,
thank
his,
you.
just embodied lips are just like,
And PG's so mad. 'cause
my
he's just
masterpiece.
no! Oh, it's wonderful. There's so many good little one-liners, or not even one-liners, just clips of this movie that just are ingrained into my brain, and it's beautiful.
For me, it's the new Army of Darkness, the classic Evil Dead sequel. I love that movie, and it's got so many quotable lines. This is kind of the next that.
Absolutely. I've watched this movie, I would have to say, about 5 to 10 times, just randomly, whenever I want to smile.
I bought the movie, but I haven't watched it that many times, so Leah's got that on me. So PG, we find out some of his backstory. So we find out Templar Pandora isn't necessarily the strictest good guy, and we find out that PG was born into servitude under the Templars, excavating dirt so they could build their churches. And so while digging, PG finds an artifact that was thought to be lost forever, forged by ancient Gygaxian warlocks out of energy from the darkest corners of the galaxy, the Gemapraxidice. PG inserts it into his chest Iron Man style and decimates the Templars. He and his generals, the Paladins of Sidon, or Sidian, Paladins of Sidian, took back Gygax. So he just stopped there, knowing he wouldn't be satisfied until he extinguished all light in the universe. However, he was stopped by the Templars and their planetary alliance. Woo! All right. So Mimi tells PG to watch more TV and learn to be more fun. I love that he's telling this epic tale of his oppression, and she's just like, "Yeah, no, you're boring. You need to watch some TV and be fun." And so it's just Mimi being Mimi.
It's true Mimi fashion.
Yeah. So PG uses electricity and TV to try to get a message to his generals, letting him know that he walks again. The TV bleeds from the effort, which is a fun little effect. And then Alistair comes over for dinner, but doesn't want to play with Mimi. So Mimi has PG come over to play with her. And PG astutely discerns that Mimi likes Alistair and offers to help. Mimi accepts without getting any specifics from PG. And now poor Alistair is a comically large brain with googly eyes. Poor Alistair.
But obviously it's Mimi's dream boat of a guy. Just a giant brain that can never get away from her.
But he does. He walks away.
Yeah, but not really. I mean, if she really wanted to chase after him, she could always catch up to him. He doesn't have legs. He can just slowly...
That is true. That is true. Yeah. So anyway, Mimi and Luke's mom sees this and cracks her dad's lucky bat against PG, breaking the bat. And PG makes clear he will kill them, despite Mimi's continued insistence that he won't.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have the having fun with PG montage.
Oh, so great.
So we start a band with PG on drums and Brain Alistair on keyboards with great profanity-free synth rock, really heavily channeling Billy Idol's Rebel Yell.
Yes.
Like, super channeling that song. It's pretty crazy. I'm surprised they weren't sued. They have karate practice with Mom, chuckling while watching them, getting ice cream and exploding a kid who mocks PG. PG fashion show at a thrift store, along with bonus Brain Alistair trying on hats. Mom seems to be really kind of okay with this, which was a little weird to me. Like, all of a sudden she's cool with it. And then Mom and Mimi sick PG on Dad, who is sneaking bake sale cookies. Basically a Beetlejuice-style hand popping out of the cookies and grabbing his face. They also show him Crazy Ball, which breaks Dad's TV, and Dad is like just freaking out. He is not okay.
He is not happy, but I mean, to his benefit, he was never really a good person per se. But how would you react if you just, I mean, it looks like they were tormenting him, like pulling pranks on him, but the pranks were pretty dark.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like he's not the worst dad. He just was lazy.
Yeah, I feel like he's just lazy and oblivious and kind of lives in his own world.
I guess.
Maybe a tad narcissistic.
Yeah.
Just a tad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so as I said, Dad's not doing well with this. And the relationships in this movie, whoa.
Yes.
Whoa. Someone needs an intervention or something.
Did they already go to the restaurant?
That's next. So while eating at a diner, we're introduced to the intensity of PG eating, and apparently on Gygax, food isn't just sustenance. To be eaten is considered a warrior's death. To be returned to later.
Speaking of which, though, fun fact, upon digging through and going down the PG wormhole that I went down, the fictional restaurant that they are eating at is actually a real restaurant. So Lester D's is a restaurant in Canada, and I believe it's called actually Lester D's, like, Real Food, but REEL or something like that.
Sounds like right.
It brings in movie ties. So when they actually started to, or I don't know if it was during production of the film or if it was post-production, but they discovered that it was a real restaurant, and Lester D's was totally fine with it. They're like, sure, go right ahead. And they actually, the real restaurant in Canada, released a limited edition Psycho Goreman cups and the Hunky Boys real meal deal. I was so upset.
We missed it.
That we missed it. And they sold a whole bunch of other memorabilia and just.
We could have had it shipped. We could have had shipped. They could be right here with us on the table.
It also channeled that like early 90s when you would go through the McDonald's drive-thru.
80s.
And 80s, yeah, and you could get like the cups.
I know.
And, it was like a dagger to the heart. Jesse and I were both. He was looking it up on his computer, and everything was just sold out.
Everything. We missed it.
Everything around this movie is sold out, which I guess is a good thing.
I'm glad for its success. I just wish I had some of that sweet, sweet merch.
Anyway.
Yes.
Back to the review.
You're right. So yes, so to be eaten is considered a warrior's death, and we'll find more about that later. Then Ebik's flashback is interrupted by Mimi for a random change to her scheduled activities with PG.
I remember during the battle on the Bridge of Souls.
I got it! Here's the new plan.
So PG notes that Luke is constantly being picked on by Mimi, and so that night when Luke has crossed the dream barrier, PG visits him in a nightmare that reminded me of the nightmare in Phantasm with the bed outside, and PG asks Luke to get him the stone, telling him they can both be rid of Mimi's madness. And then, but Luke cannot betray his sister like that, even if she would not reciprocate. I like that about Luke. He seems like a stand-up dude. He understands what's going on and will do the right thing regardless.
Exactly.
And so after Luke refuses, then they must wait awkwardly for the dream to complete, which is just a nice touch. I really like that. And so now Mimi and Luke try to teach PG Crazy Ball, but he doesn't have any clue what's going on, and neither does Brain Alistair, actually. So then cops show up and shoot PG, who blocks the bullet, saying he should have let them hit the kids. He turns one cop into a gruesome melting zombie who's under his control and sends the other one off to tell the other law dealers that darkness has fallen. I like the touch of calling them law dealers. That's pretty cool. But the multi-zombie has the key, so the other cop can't use the car, and poor Alistair starts to wander off and wondering if he'll ever be normal again.
Seriously, it just reminded me of Charlie Brown. The Charlie Brown, just slow music, sadness. Alistair seriously has like a little touch in my heart.
Do you think I'll ever be normal again?
Probably not. But who cares? I like you just the way you are.
Okay.
Bye, Alistair!
The Library Grindhouse will be back after these messages. The Library Grindhouse is unofficially brought to you by Brainfuse. Whether you are one big brain, a brain in a jar, a vat full of brains and viscera, or just trying to get by with what's between your own ears, Brainfuse has tools and tutors for all ages. Brainfuse, try it today. And now back to the Library Grindhouse.
So now they're going to teach PG the F word. The F word being frig. So great. I mean, this movie has so much gore. They could have just gone all the way, but no. No, they're not going to. I don't think there's a single cuss word in this movie.
I don't think so either. It's a bunch of little kids. So, well, mainly little kids.
Right, and definitely nothing a parent would really object to. So basically, they try to tell PG what love is, while the zombie cop tries to kill himself. So, that's what they're trying to tell in the background. The cop's just constantly trying to, blow his brains out, which is just crazy. And so when Luke says something Mimi doesn't like, she tells PG to kill Luke. She wasn't telling him to stop, but Luke is ready to give that stone to PG at this point.
That was the turning point.
Wait, she waited way too. She not only told him to do that, she also waited way too long.
Yeah.
No, I'm not having him do this. Not cool. So the cop arrives at the station with Templar Pandora arriving soon after, disguised as the human she switched. So basically when she rubbed the blood on her face, that was turning her, transforming her into that human. And then the Templar likely kills the cop by sucking the info out of his brain, which is pretty crazy. And then PG's generals, the Paladins, arrive, and I love that one is just a straight up giant vat of gore. It is fantastic.
All the costumes were great. And this is actually, I know I keep saying this, but this was one of my favorite scenes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just the wildness of all the different paladins. They're all unique. There's like kind of a witch one. There's kind of like an elf one, or like elf dwarvish looking one.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. So...
And Mimi tells them, right? This is the part where...
Well, generals like things the way they were. And so they're going to kill PG. They're not going to help him. And so Mimi demands an apology from PG. And basically... the generals are basically just kicking PG's butt because she won't let him fight.
Yeah.
She will not let him fight. She basically has to freeze there.
She has willed him to not be able to fight back. He just kind of has to sit there and take all of these blows from these aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And then he doesn't he get sliced, or does he get stabbed, or something
Well,
happens?
they're hitting him and it looks super epic, but then it cuts back
That's
and
right.
it's just like he's getting sprayed with gore by the one thing, and then they're just kind of like smacking their swords on him.
And kudos to this part too, because obviously this movie is wonderful with music, but you hear like this epic just
heavy metal like battle
while all
soundtrack.
these aliens are beating up on PG, and then it pans out and the music just stops.
out, and it's
So you just see
like,
all these people in like these costumes beating up people. But I was thinking like that's really what people would see. Like if there was a fight, you know,
it was just
you
super
don't
goofy
have...
looking. It wasn't epic looking at
Yeah,
all.
it was great. I love
it was
that
like we
touch,
know
though.
what this movie is,
Yeah.
so why lie? So finally she gets the apology she's looking for. She sticks him on the generals, and he gives Leader a warrior's death and eats him, and Mimi really digs it. Luke almost passes out, and PG's now dying because those blades are poisoned that they were using.
Yes.
So Mom and Dad now have a confrontation because Dad bought a TV and will be taking a couple weeks off work so his hand can heal from injuring himself earlier, and tells his wife to pick up a few more shifts at the pharmacy. Which like, whoa, dude. That's really, I feel like that's that's a real turn for the character. I don't really, the dad seemed just lazy and easygoing, not like vindictive.
I feel like he was either just beaten down from everyone picking on him, maybe. So he just had enough.
I just don't know. It's just weird because
He always kind of had that attitude with them too.
I didn't get that though. I felt like he was, he obviously cut himself on that shovel so he can get out of digging.
I found him oblivious. Like he was oblivious to really the family around him. Just whenever they approached him, he would do something.
But at the same time, he was there.
He was there.
That's the weird thing.
But he was there, like living in his own little world, his own little.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Until like the mom came out screaming, and then he didn't even realize there was an alien standing there the first time. Like he's kind of like
he's more worried about his baseball bat.
Yeah, he's in his own little like world. Narcissistic little world focused on just him. Like, oh, my hand hurts. You need to pick up more shifts. I don't care about you. What? My baseball bat? Like,
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
So his wife explodes on him and tells him he gets lazy by the house.
Lazy? How dare you? You know how much I hate that word. My parents used it, my teachers used it, and now you?
Shame on you, Susan. I thought you were better than that.
Oh, that's such a great line there. So Dad leaves to have a psych up session on the toilet, but then a bright light shows up and transforms into a screaming PG, telling Dad where to find him or they all die. And he has to keep showing up to give detailed directions, which is just awesome. So the Dad's even more shocked and,
When I was watching this, probably like the 4th or 5th time, because it's literally just a head pops out. Like when he's talking to him, he's on the toilet in the bathroom. And I paused it just right at one point and it looked like one of those 80s style, like, people... the glamour shots where there was like a picture of them up ahead and then along with them smiling, but it was PG and the dad looking straight ahead, and I was like, dag on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was great.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to try to find that freeze frame. That's great. So Dad shows up with his pickup. He accidentally takes out the last warrior by running over its head, they are home to find Templar Pandora talking to their mom. So Dad sides with Mimi and PG, and Luke goes with Mom and the Templar. Dad, Mimi, and PG drive off and leave, and take PG back to the shoe factory. And then Dad tells a story about being a kid. And basically, he was asked by Creepy Dude if he wanted to see the Creepy Dude's collection of baseball cards in the back of his van. And you're just like, where's this going? And he's like, he did. And he had a ton of fun looking at the guy's huge collection of pristine baseball cards. He was glad he put his trust in that creepy weirdo dude, so Mimi should put her trust in her murdering monster friend. It's the adult thing to do. This movie, it's just genius. It's genius. So Templar Pandora turns Mom into a Templar as well.
Step aside, Mimi!
Mom?
Which is pretty cool.
That is very
And Mimi goes to the office where there's a crucifix. She asks for advice considering what shade she should wear. And yeah, breaks the crucifix in half because there's a new guy in town. His name is Psycho Goreman, which, whatever. I'm just like trying to push some boundaries there, I guess. And then makes PG promise not to kill her or her family. What about everyone else on the planet? Oops. Oops is right. So at least their family will be okay. So Luke took the gem, so PG left to face off against the Templars. Mom faces off against Dad, almost kills him, and Mimi faces off against Luke. Anyway, so basically PG requests final combat with Templar Pandora versus instant execution, and he's allowed to name the contest. We don't know what that's going to be. Crazy Ball! Heck yeah. So it's Team Hero versus Team Suck.
Which I thought was so funny. I could just totally see myself as a little kid. I'm on Team Hero, you're on Team Suck.
Pretty much, yeah. It comes down to Luke and Mimi and the switcheroo, like in the beginning. Mimi punches Luke and Team Hero wins. And then Mimi stands in front of PG when Pandora tries to kill him anyway, but Mom stops Pandora. Luke demands an apology from Mimi, and we get an a cappella reprise of Mimi's song. I guess it's saying that she loves her family.
Yeah.
Somehow.
In her little Mimi way.
Right. So Templar takes away the mom's power, and then PG defeats Pandora by making a blade from her flesh, which is pretty crazy. Basically defeats her just by making the weapon to defeat her, which is pretty crazy. I was like, that's a little easy, but that's all right. So Mimi uses Morse code to actually say that she's sorry to Luke, which is kind of sweet because they find out earlier in the movie that they used Morse code to tap between the walls and talk to each other, which is kind of a sweet touch.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I feel like all siblings, if you grew up with like a close in age sibling, kind of had their little ways of communicating, I guess. Like, especially if you're supposed to be asleep. That's what they did. They knock on the wall or pass notes underneath the door or something. Something. I thought that was a really cute touch. It shows that Mimi and Luke are always, I mean, yeah, they had fun during Crazy Ball, but they seem to be almost, not polar opposites, but opposite enough to where it's like, okay, Mimi's a psycho, and Luke is just kind of a doormat with his sister.
Yeah.
But they do love each other. They have this sibling bond. So that was nice. Little tear roll at the end of the movie.
A little bit, yeah. It was touching. It was a little bit of a touching thing. So PG gives Pandora a warrior's death after she gets blood on his hunky boys. Oh, my hunky boys!
Hunky boys!
Oh, so good. And now PG will do what he's made to do and destroy everything but Mimi and her family. And Mimi gives the gem back, knowing her power. He gives Mimi the gem back, saying the power comes within, the power of love. What? So using the power of love, he's going to destroy the universe, I guess. So he uses power to destroy the galaxy, and Mimi and PG blow kisses before he goes off to destroy everything.
So was that gem like signifying his heart all along? Because like you said, he Iron Man style had the gem in his chest.
Right.
So when I first started watching this, and I kind of didn't realize about the whole intergalactic gem, and that's how he ended up getting more power. I was like, so she's holding his heart. Aw, cute. And that's how he controls, or she controls him, because she has his heart. And it ends up kind of being like that anyway. Right?
Sort of, but I think what he discovered, which he should have discovered when he came across those people in the shoe factory at the beginning, is he had powers. None of his powers were gone. Like, he was able to, like, turn that guy into a masterpiece without having the gem of Praxidike.
But the gem of Praxidike was like so much
control
power.
him. I just don't know. So somehow he interfaced with the gem either enough that he had the power anyway, or
I don't know. I don't know if like he already, or maybe this, because obviously if he was a slave and he was strong and able to, what was it?
dig foundations for their churches.
Exactly. So he must have already been strong enough. He must have already had some power, I'm guessing, and maybe by implanting the gem, he absorbed some of it.
I guess. I mean, the gem didn't look very glowy when he gave it back, so maybe he absorbed the power.
Maybe we need a PG-2 to explain this.
Yes, we need a PG-2. I don't need explanations. I just need any more of this.
We don't need any explanations. Just do another one, please.
Just more adventures of PG.
Please do another one.
So Alistair's family's watching PG destroy everything on the news while eating dinner, and they basically accepted their googly-eyed brain son, which is kind of heartwarming, and we watched them eat for a while.
Well, I have my own kind of take on this. I feel like that his parents don't even realize that he is a brain. I think Alistair...
I did have that thought, yeah.
I think Alistair's one of those poor kids, well, they allude to it, that like his parents are just oblivious. They kind of live in their own little picture-perfect world, not even realizing that their son is a giant brain. With random arm-like, I'm guessing that's supposed to be the stuff that's attached to the spinal cord. I don't know. But...
yeah. Oh, man.
Poor
Just
Alistair.
Alistair.
That's the whole... Yeah, they ended on a... Poor Alistair.
But he's with his family, and they're not, like, freaking out.
And Mimi loves him, so, you know...
I guess.
I guess.
Yeah, and so then we get a cut back to that planet with all the other aliens, and they're just like, Cortex always has a plan B. Who wants to kill themselves first? So they've given up. So yeah. So I guess PG wins.
And destroys the world? Question mark?
I guess, but that doesn't matter because the credits are rolling and we get a plot wrap over the credits, which is just the coup de grace. It is such an 80s, 90s thing to have a rap song that goes over the whole plot of the movie, and it is just fantastic. It is a great plot wrap. It's one of the greats. I love it.
Yes, absolutely. I wish that, you know...
all movies should have a plot wrap. I don't care.
Yeah.
Every single one.
I agree. What are some big ones? If you guys know of really good, you know, plot wraps at the end of movies, let us know in the comments.
Or what movies should have a plot wrap.
That's a good one, too.
And don't. Let us know in the comments. For sure. Well, that's it for Psycho Goreman. Here's your clue for next week's episode.
Clucifer here. Your clue for the next film is, what's in the box?
So let us know in the comments what you think the next week's movie is, and also let us know, again, what movie has the best plot wrap, and also what movie should have a plot wrap. For Library Grindhouse, I'm Jesse.
And I'm Leah.
We'll see you next time.